What's up, guys? So I figured I would do an update on DWAC. Obviously, not too much has happened. We're just kind of chopping around quite a bit. You guys know that I'm in my position still. I actually added a little bit to my position today. We are kind of getting a little bit of that red candling action here. Where did I draw this from before? I mean, I guess I can do that for now. But it's kind of more like... Actually, I kind of think I want to do... Sorry, I'm not really prepared. I cleared my chart. Yeah, maybe something like that where we had this fake out. Yeah, that makes sense. We had this fake out. We came back up. We retested it, and that sent us on our moonshot there. So, so far, we're on our daily here, and our double bottom is slowly playing out here because now we have another green daily. We want to keep this... We want to keep this trend going, of course. Now, the only thing right now that I'm noticing on this daily time frame here is that we have now tapped roughly. I mean, we wicked a little bit higher on this one, which is why this candle is still green, because as long as we maintain above this previous candle of 44.85, it will stay a green candle here. So getting a little bit higher here, this is nice. But we are in the start of this potential W still. Like I said, this is still playing out, so it can still continue up until the buyers really start saying, hey, whoa, this looks like a nice W. Right now we're still like kind of trying to confirm it and everything. Now, one thing I did notice yesterday was I was talking about how it's not the cleanest looking W because we had this bearish chop, this drop, and then we started making our W. But one thing I did notice when I zoomed over here to this left side, to this previous W pattern, which also looked pretty ugly, that did shoot us up pretty far, was we had this chop, this drop, and then the start of the W pattern. And then it took quite a bit of time before it actually did take off, and we ended up making a smaller W right there. That really took us off. So what's going to happen here? Obviously, time's still going to tell. But we are making our way up right now. But we do have to watch this area right here of roughly, I mean, it's really roughly this 45.57. Obviously, we've had wicks above. We want to see the dailies start to close above that area. That's going to show that we are reclaiming this support. Because even looking back here, we can see prior to the drop, we were holding candle bodies at this 45, 90, 46 area, but we weren't closing any bodies below. And then finally we lost it, and we closed the body completely below on this candle. And although it was a fake out, we came down, the buyers stepped right back in, we ripped back up. We had a body up here, and we started kind of closing above, using it as support again, but then we lost it. So it's not the strongest support, but I do like kind of like this area right here, this 45.90. We can see wicks that were coming down, anywhere from this 45.90 to 45.54 even, because that was a flat body right there that closed below. That kind of signaled the drop. This flat body on top, we started staying above. I mean, it's chopping around in a previous support. That's the biggest thing. So we do want to see this flip to support and not be used as resistance. So we're going to have to see how this next daily candle reacts. Now, if we were to just go down to the 1 hour and kind of see what we have going on here, we can see on the 1 hour we are chopping quite a bit. But we do still seem to be maintaining our uptrend right here. And it was getting very close to potentially losing it, because on the hourly here, we had a tap, we started lifting from it, and now we came back to it, and we were starting to wick below it. But so far, as of right now, our candle body is still holding this 44.78 roughly area that we just marked out from the daily. It can go a little bit lower. We are getting a spinning top here, so a lot of indecision as we are holding this potential support right here. So, sometimes I'll even just go off of these wicks here and say, this right here is looking, I mean, it's pretty close. It's very close, I will admit. But we're just hanging on here. So this usually shows me that we have a big move coming very soon, because it has two decisions to make. either breaks down or breaks out. And that's kind of where I'm at with this right now, which is why I'm still watching it and I'm still maintaining my position. Yesterday we were talking about this 15-minute rising, somewhat of a rising wedge, which it kind of, that's why I don't really like to draw out the 15-minute ones, because you can get price action like this where, let's go to the 15-minute and show you. This was the 15-minute rising wedge I was talking about in yesterday's video. And obviously, we found our resistance roughly around that 45.73 I was talking about. We went a little higher, but then we lost it. And then now we're kind of trending, and we're trending back up. So, I mean, it is going to be confusing if I leave that there. To me, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to just continue to watch my 1 hour trend line that I've added in here. And obviously on the 15-minute, we can see that right now, although we were testing that on the 1 hour, trying to hang below, we are starting to get this 15-minute push back up. So 46.33 is going to be a level off of that 15-minute chart. Off of the hourly, it's roughly probably the same thing, 46.30-ish. Up in this range, you can see my orange dotted line here. That's my $47 alert, but I can actually set an alert here. I can actually set my alert at 45.30. Whoops, what was it? 40 or 46.30? I think of what it was. Yeah, 46.30. That'll kind of tell me, hey, we're pushing up through this potential resistance line right here. And then as far as like below, if we started closing candle bodies, especially ones that look like this with the flat top, and we start closing it below this 44.60 line, and we start getting red rejection here and start closing below, this might signal me to get out of my trade. But for now, as we continue to hold this line, I'm just going to remain patient, and I'm just going to continue waiting and seeing what happens, because if this does continue holding this line, eventually we should be doing pretty well. I mean, even with this candle body right now, it's starting to close red outside of it. This could start to signal a downturn right here. But I'm just going to remain patient, and I'm going to just wait and see how this price action continues to progress. If we can't seem to get above any of these levels up here, then, it's going to be pretty clear to me that we're not going to be able to break up anymore. So, obviously we're having some trouble for sure. This thing doesn't want to seem to break above that 46.30, 46.40 area here. But we can see on the 1 minute time frame, this level of this 44.19, 44.78 in that area is trying to hold us up. I mean, on the 1 minute, you can probably draw a pattern here as well. But I don't really like to draw the 1 minutes because you can get some fake outs. But you can kind of see on the 1 minute what's going on right now is we have potentially this head and shoulders pattern forming here. And if it does drop us down, then we might be looking back at that $42 level. And if we do continue to hold here, then we might just continue chopping in this pattern here, which kind of looks like a 1 minute rising wedge. But overall, I am just kind of keeping an eye. I don't care about 1 minute, 15 minute. I'm more so keeping an eye on the 2 hour RSI and the MACD, which right now we can see that we are getting a little bit of a roll down. The MACD is rolling over, which is our momentum indicator. And I kind of drew in this line off the hourly. This actually might be more clear. I kind of drew up this white line on the MACD on the hourly because we had a couple, our RSI. If we zoom in here, we had a touch here that rejected us, a double touch here, rejected us. Then we ripped back up. We tried to double bottom on this white line, ripped this back up. We lost it. It dropped us all the way back down. Same here. We lost it. We started getting resistance on it. It dropped us down. Resistance on it dropped us down. So to me, it makes sense to keep it here. And what I'm going to kind of watch as well is this RSI. Is it going to confirm this as support and continue holding it for the first time, or is it going to just end up losing it, which is going to signal a big drop back down into this range here, which might end up looking something similar like that? And if it does do that, then this would be potentially where we get a bounce would be somewhere in this same range that the RSI has been bouncing here. So there's a few things going on right now that are definitely showing some signals, some weak signs, but I'm just kind of watching the trend and seeing if we can maintain at least, for me, it's really above this $44 range. If we start closing below it, even if we break this trend I made and we close below, and we don't close below $44, I think we can still see some bullish price action. But we're definitely getting some chop. We got that red candle right here that could signal us to roll over. And if we do roll over here, then that whole W pattern idea is going to be completely failed. So we're definitely in a decision time. I mean, if we go off of the daily and we say, hey, we want to only play daily patterns, then you draw your trend line out like that, get rid of these, and we'll say as long as we don't close a daily below this area, which is really that 42.50, then we can still continue in this W pattern. And then if we throw it down to the hourly to show how low we can actually go, I mean, it doesn't, well, not the hourly, usually the daily will correspond with the 4 hour. We can still pretty much maintain in this 43.13 area, but we're definitely struggling.